Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Farsi Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. My name is Mark Barzetta. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you guys get to enjoy the day off as we honor Dr. Martin Luther King today. The NFL is very addictive. The NBA is just hilarious because Russell Westbrook, he took the ball, you see, he bounced it, lost it, bounced it again, and got blocked by George Niang. 76ers beat the Lakers last night while you were sleeping, or while you were watching Ravens-Bengals, while you were trying to recover from just an insane NFL weekend. And also the Flyers winning 7 of 8 now. They are red hot, beating the Capitals twice in the home-and-home series. And the Giants are coming to South Philadelphia for a Saturday night, 8:15 kickoff with your Philadelphia Eagles. So much to get to, so much to cover today. We will get to it all. Let's start with the NFL. Let's start with your Philadelphia Eagles. Adam Schefter put it out late last night saying that the Eagles will be playing host to the Giants at 8:15 for that Saturday night kickoff. You still got Buccaneers. You still got Cowboys to kick off tonight at 8:15. Look forward to watching that game. I have said throughout this bye week that the team that I didn't want the smoke from was the New York Football Giants. Now, let me just say this and get this out of the way so everyone knows the right mindset that I have right now. Everyone understands the mindset that I have right now. The mindset that I have right now is that when we lined up all the teams, all the 4 teams that the Eagles could have faced in the divisional round, I went with storylines, I went with who I want to see, and then I also went with who I want to see the least. The team I least wanted to see, the team, as I said last week, I don't want the smoke from, is the New York Giants. And what did the Giants go ahead and do? They went ahead and they upset the Minnesota Vikings on their home field, said, what were you doing, Kirk Cousins? We'll get to that in a second. But the Giants are coming to Philly. The reason I didn't want to face the Giants is because if they beat the Vikings, then that meant that they really are playing their best football when it matters most. And they are getting healthy when it matters most, right before and into the postseason. They are a bit of a wild card, and I don't just mean that to accurately describe how they got in the standings. They're a wild card because they have, in my opinion, the most talented running back since LaDainian Tomlinson in the NFL in what they have in Saquon Barkley. Yeah, you heard me. You have other guys that are more accomplished, better stats and all that, but when it comes to if I'm making picks, Saquon Barkley is who I'm picking after LaDainian Tomlinson in the last 20 years in the NFL. When I watch him, he's just incredible. And just as a football fan, I marvel. The jersey, not so much, but what he does, I marvel. And yesterday, he was showing off, basically. But when I watch this Giants team, it's finally healthy. They finally have Adoree Jackson back in their secondary, who was a huge contributor for him yesterday. They have Xavier McKinney, who's back in their secondary as well. He only played in, 9 games this year because of the broken fingers he had in his hand after an ATV accident? Yeah, during their bye week. Imagine that story happening in Philadelphia. What did you do? How did you do it? When did you do it? Dying on that for a while. But they're finally healthy, and they're playing great. They're well coached. There's no doubt about that with what Brian Daboll has done with this team. Mike Kafka, who we've heard so much about throughout really the last couple of years here as a head coaching candidate as their offensive coordinator, and a guy named Wink Martindale, who knows a thing or two about defense. They're a pretty good football team. And yes, they are that team that could be that team of destiny. I mean, you can look at the Seattle Seahawks and say, well, why didn't you want to face them? I know people that we've talked to, our man Thomas R. Peterson, he wanted to face the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not saying that probably would have been my next best for the easiest path through. Yeah, sure, the Seattle Seahawks. But when it comes to the team that other people are looking at with that getting hot at the right time mantra, that's the New York Giants. The reason they're getting hot at the right time is because they're getting healthy at the right time. And that's helping them out tremendously. They don't beat the Giants yesterday without that. Maybe they don't beat the Giants yesterday without, a missed false start call on the second touchdown of the game. But, it is what it is. The Giants are that team. But with all that being said, I still think the Eagles win. As I said last week, bring on whoever. I think the bottom line is the Eagles are going to win the game. They're going to win the divisional round. They're going to go on to the NFC Championship game again. But when it comes to what team I didn't want to see, it's this New York Giants team for this reason. Now, does that mean I'm scared? No, 7.5-point favorites the Eagles are right out of the gate. So that's pretty nice. The Eagles dominated them in their first meeting. The second meeting, end of the year, they rested their starters, and the Giants did. They even rested their backup in Tyrod Taylor. And yes, the Eagles struggled against them. I can't help but look at that last game, as I've told you before, and simply describe it as a heavyweight champion carrying a paper contender for 12 rounds, even though he didn't have to, but he wanted everyone on pay-per-view to keep, to get their money's worth. So it wasn't a first-round knockout. That's what that game was. And yes, the number one factor going into this game isn't the fact that the Giants are what they are right now, hot, healthy, all that stuff. It's Jalen Hurts' health and how he's going to perform in this game and how he feels going into this week, how he feels going into Saturday. And it did cross my mind briefly for Sunday. You know what? If they just played one more day later, would that help? Would that help Jalen Hurts' injury? Hit it, please. I think a week off is enough. Get him back into the swing of things. Get him back out there on the football field. And if he is going to be held true to what he said last week about, hey, how close to you, what percentage would you put on how you're going to become, next week? And he goes, well, the man will be out there. I can't tell you the percentage, but the man will be out there. Okay, so we know you're going to play. Thank goodness, because if you played week 18 and then didn't play 2 weeks later, that'd be weird. The man will be out there. Great. How close to 100% will that guy be? Because I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not going to be 100%. But also, the guy that did show up, Jalen Hurts, was out there. I don't think the Eagles win a game with that same level of play. The Eagles, if they get that same, I don't know what you would call it, maybe 65%, 70% of Jalen Hurts, then the defense better step up a lot more than they did against the third stringers in Week 18. The Giants are a better team than what the Eagles saw in the regular season. They are a better team. Top to bottom of that roster, they're a better team because they have gotten more healthy since the first meeting in the Meadowlands this year. The team that played at the end of the year, I really can't take much out of. Oh, they beat them twice. Oh, they beat them once. That was the JV Giants that played in Week 18. And that was not a healthy Jalen Hurts. I hope that the 2 weeks in between those games really helps Jalen Hurts get back to a lot closer to the level that we saw him. He was good enough to win. He played good enough to win. He did everything he had to do to make sure the Eagles won that game. And the Eagles are going to need, obviously, more than that in the playoffs against a team that's playing a lot better and a team that has their, all the bullets in the chamber there. So when it comes to this matchup on Saturday, I still think the Eagles win, but I in no way, shape, or form are taking this game lightly. I've seen a couple of things out there on social media regarding, don't overthink it. You're the better team. The better team wins. Go out there and win. When it comes to beating a team 3 times in one season, that shouldn't be that difficult because that you obviously prove you're the better team. I can't think of a more weird scenario. Excuse me, where the Eagles are going into this third game. Excuse me for just 1 second, folks. I'm going to go and sip this. For the people on the podcast, I had a little extra espresso. I did not bring water with me, unfortunately. I normally do. So that was espresso. Anyway, I cannot think of a more weird scenario where you have to play this third game because really, it feels like those first 2 games were totally different because they were. You did what you were supposed to do in the first meeting. You ran up 48 points on them. You took care of business. You dominated that game, right? Away. And then the second game, like I mentioned, the JV Giants, so it was totally different. And your quarterback was just coming back from an injury that he wasn't even ready to come back from yet. And now you go into the playoffs where everything goes out the window. All that matters is you get in the tournament. If you were a Giants fan, all right, so let's just imagine this unfortunate scenario. If you were a Giants fan and you're going into the playoffs against the Eagles. You're facing the number 1 seed. Okay, you're facing a division rival. You got to be thinking, third time's the charm. And you also got to be thinking, you know what? If we're going to play them, this is the time to play them. when we've got guys back. Daniel Jones is playing phenomenal football. Saquon Barkley is reaching his full potential in the playoffs, it looks like. Darius Slayton all of a sudden looks like a guy that is just unstoppable. Dexter Lawrence, oh my goodness gracious. That I would have to think it was roughing the passer. He spun Kirk Cousins to the ground, which you're not supposed to do anymore. So it could be interpreted as he threw him to the ground. He also hit his helmet. I felt with those two things, the helmet was the more egregious and obvious. The spitting to the ground, I don't what do you want? You want him just to hug? Say, hey, you tried. But I got here. Got you. You're out. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that play. But Vikings got to extend the drive on that. And then I have to say this. When Slayton dropped the ball on the 3rd and 15 and would have, I think, got the first down, and I think most people's contention was the same thing. And he was looking all disappointed. My first thought was, Cousins is going to do something stupid. Don't fret too much. Cousins is going to do something stupid. The only way he doesn't is if Justin Jefferson gets incredibly open, and that's all she wrote, which didn't happen. Gardner Minshew against the Saints, I think it was against the Saints, had a similar play to Kirk Cousins at the end of that playoff game yesterday against the Giants. It's a 4th and 8. Cousins drops back. 2.7 seconds. So 3 seconds is like the luxury. All right. Anything around there, you should be okay to make a play. Especially when all you need is essentially 9 yards. It's not like he needed 26 to drop back, find somebody gets open way downfield, right? It's a rather fast developing play. He drops back, and I know he has pressure in his face at 2 seconds. Instead of looking for Osgood, who has come up big for them, Thielen, who I think was on the field for that play as well, or Justin Jefferson, he decides to throw 3 yards past the first down mark, or excuse me, the line of scrimmage. The TJ Hawkinson, who had a phenomenal game, threw a 3-yard pass on a 4th and 8 in their final possession of the playoffs. Gardner Minshew made a similar throw. Your starting playoff quarterback of one of the most potent passing attacks in the NFL. Yes, they have Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the NFL. But you mean to tell me that's the decision you make? I understand he had pressure, but your decision was to go TJ Hawkinson underneath. There's no way to all the young players, if you're making that play, you're throwing that ball short of the sticks. 5 yards. Oh, my God. You're at least throwing at the sticks. And he threw well under. And now the Giants are coming to South Philly. It's insane. When I saw him, it was one of those things when I saw Kirk Cousins throw that ball, I went, what down is it? It's 4th down, right? I didn't read that wrong. Did I miss a penalty? Is he checking down on 4th and 8 in the playoffs? Oh, wow. You know who doesn't like that? Everyone in Minnesota. Everyone in Minnesota does not like that. My, oh, my, folks. My, oh, my. The game last night as well, the Bengals and Ravens. Ravens, look, we'd be losing our minds. Lamar Jackson obviously doesn't play. There's talk about prepping both quarterbacks, Anthony Brown as well as Huntley. And Huntley played great for the final 2 of the last 3 drives, which were incredible, but the Bengals were just too much for them to handle, and that's all she wrote. John Harbaugh goes home, and that's that. And the Bengals and Joe Burrow and company move on. They survive and advance. So yeah, yesterday was just an absolutely incredible day. The Bills and Dolphins was a crazy game. Was Josh McDaniel? Was he vaping? Mike McDaniel? Was he vaping? Was he not? I don't know. But I will say this: Josh Allen and that little melee he had that started, dude. Jalen Hurts would have put that defensive lineman on his ass. So don't give me no Josh Allen MVP consideration. That was a bad move by Josh Allen. I know people say you can't touch a quarterback. I forget who it was on the defensive player in that scenario. But he basically, like, he started blocking, which is allowed, and then he stopped and then just kind of like boxed out Josh Allen, which I felt was a smart thing to do, especially with how you got to play against quarterbacks. They don't want a little Hugh Douglas versus what's his name? Jim Miller. You don't want that. Boxes him out. He played it safe, played it cool, played it smart, and Josh Allen got all pissy about it. But either way, the Bills win, and they survive in advance. San Francisco 49ers definitely showed a lot of holes in their game, at least the beginning of that, and then they handled their business in the second half. But still, I think the Eagles beat the Niners. I still think the Eagles are the number one seed and still the best team in the NFC. They should be favored in every game, not just because they're home, but because they are the best team. Now, Saturday night, go out there and prove it, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let's move on to the Sixers. Let me just say this one more time. Sorry. The Eagles are better than every team in the NFC at the absolute least. And I have a lot of confidence in what they're going to be able to do against this New York Giants football team. However, the team that I do think will give them their biggest run for their money is the Giants. I don't think this game is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a good game that the Eagles win. And that's the bottom line. I don't think they cover. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on to basketball here. I do want to get this in regarding the 76ers. Remember, like a month ago, there was a story about James Harden and Joel Embiid, and James Harden is like eager to get a new contract in free agency, to go elsewhere, to go to Houston. And that might be true. They want to go back to Houston. But the reasons he wants to go back to Houston might be a little off. There was a story that him and Joel Embiid weren't getting along. James Harden doesn't like playing for Joel Embiid. And there's a story about how he doesn't want to play for Doc Rivers anymore. Doc Rivers is it's a work in progress. James Harden's relationship with his head coach and his MVP candidate teammate in Joel Embiid. I'm going to go ahead and believe the part about Doc Rivers because Doc Rivers has, in the past, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, not been the favorite of players. The thing with Joel Embiid and James Harden, I can understand why that would be a little bit difficult for a star athlete, another star athlete, to maybe have issues in getting along. It's happened in the past. Teams have had a lot of success still while doing that. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, not the best of friends. They won a couple championships together. It can still work if you don't like each other. There seems to be at least a respect between Joel Embiid and James Harden. And last night, I don't know if you caught it during the post-game interview after the two combined for 59 points in the game last night. You could hear Joel Embiid coming into the camera frame and slapping James Harden, high five, and just like, good job, good game, all that stuff. And it's like, oh, wow, if they didn't respect each other, I don't think they'd be doing that. So that's good. They show in the offseason them working out together. And just to shoot down that thing even more so, my point at the time the story came out is very similar to my point right now. It's actually identical in that James Harden turned down more money to go elsewhere, to stay here in Philadelphia, to play with Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. So how much does James Harden hate it here? Well, apparently not enough to make an extra $15 million somewhere else. Oh, no, I'll stay here. Yes, I'll take less money. So apparently the relationship ain't that bad. And when they were cooking like they were last night, the last 6 minutes of that game took forever with reviews and replays and all that stuff. Doc Rivers gave a lot of credit post-game to Montrezl Harrell, said the game ball went to Montrezl Harrell for realizing the ball was out of bounds when nobody else realized the ball was out of bounds. He's like, yeah, challenge this, coach. I just saw it. Got challenge it. So they challenged it. But watching Joel Embiid cook last night, hitting George Niang for that corner three. Play started with Harden, went to Embiid. Embiid drove And all the credit in the world to him, just kick it out to George Niang for the three was incredible. Tobias Harris helped things get going in that quarter as well with that little bunny jumper he had there in the paint. James Harden had a 3 for you late as well. James Harden was driving the lane. And then if we could laugh at Kirk Cousins for the play he had, we could certainly laugh at Russell Westbrook for the play he had on Joel Embiid. Westbrook brings the ball up. I think he brought the ball up. Anyway, he's at the perimeter. He's dribbling against Embiid. Embiid's D'ing him up like nobody's business. Russell's dribbling. About 5 seconds left. He loses the ball, has to regather about the perimeter, and then has to drive. Ball goes up. Embiid's there. Niang is there. Blocked by George Niang. Sixers come away with the win in Los Angeles against LeBron James, who had 35 points last night, and the LA Lakers. And of course, we're not the LA Lakers of everybody healthy and all that pots and pans stuff, but Sixers came away with a big win. Also interesting, they decided last night, Doc Rivers, that Tyrese Maxey was not going to be in the starting five. Instead, D'Anthony Melton was in the starting five last night for the Sixers. Very questionable. I was questioning it. I know you were questioning it. Doc Rivers, after the game, revealed that they're going to have 3 different starting lineups. I'll let him explain. Here's your boy, Doc Rivers, after the Sixers went over the Lakers last night.
Yeah, we told our team there's 3 lineups that we'll be using for this point on. We were going to do it in the Utah game, but Tobias was out. But they know the lineups. I'm not going to share them. But there's 3 different lineups we'll use on different nights.
Do you anticipate starting different runs on different nights to do the matchups? Or?
Yeah, that's what the 3 lineups are. Yeah, and some nights it'll be the matchup to them. Some nights it'll be to make them match up to us.
3 starting.
Yeah, 3 starting lineups.
We're gonna have three starting lineups for matching purposes. I figured it would be something like that after the game. I didn't think it would be anything along the lines of. I don't think Doc was going to come out and be like, well, Tyrese is still playing himself into shape. He's just not ready to go all the way. I figured it was going to be a matchup thing that they liked. I am still all for it. By the way, D'Anthony Melton checks notes, 0 points last night. Off the bench, Tyrese Maxey, 16 points, 5 rebounds for the Sixers. A nice little spark off the bench, right? He's a lot better than a spark off the bench. All right. He's an all-star caliber player. And when I didn't see him in the starting lineup, and I anticipated it was a matchup thing with the Sixers, right? I didn't anticipate that he was going to have 2 other starting lineups that he was going to like, but apparently we're in some kind of crazy rotation right now with Doc Rivers where he has a rotation of starters. Odd, but okay. I am always, there's very few times where you can say always and really mean it. I am always in favor of the 76ers starting their best 5 play. Always in favor. Well, Mark, what about Mark Alvarado and the 82-83 Sixers? Yeah, okay, that was a long time ago. All right. I'm always in favor of having your best 5 out there. Hey, deal with this. If you're a top seed contender, what the Sixers are right now, there's like a 3-way tie for the 3rd spot. And the Sixers are there despite having a lot of injuries over the season. Joel Embiid has missed time. James Harden has missed time. Tyrese Maxey has missed time. We all know. Okay. I'm always in favor of putting your best 5 out there. If you're a number 1 seed contending team, if you're a top spot contending team, you put your best 5 out there. Hey, you deal with this. You figure it out. That's how you win games. That's how you win in the playoffs. You got a good enough bench. Bench has been coming up clutch, especially in times where you didn't have James Harden or Embiid or went through all the injuries you've gone through already this season. Bench has come up huge. I don't think this is the season. Last year, you can make an argument that you needed some kind of spark off the bench. You needed some bench help there. This year, I don't think so. Is Daryl Morey sitting up there in the front office just going, why did I do all I did in the offseason? Why did I bring in D'Anthony Melton? You're going to start him? You don't understand, Doc. It's not why I brought him here. It's very frustrating. And the 3 rotation, Not for me. I don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit. To me, it's going to come down to why most teams win in the NBA, and it's not because of coaching. It's because of talent. Talent just overcomes everything. And health, obviously, overcomes a lot more than that. But when it comes to this 3 different starting lineups, you're playing the matchups. Hey, look, they won last night, so all right, fine. But I'd rather have Maxey in your starting 5. I'd rather have that key contributor that he can be, and not say, hey, all right, come off the bench, see what you can do there. This is the lineup we like tonight. I like taking your best 5 and throwing it in the face of the opponent and saying, you deal with this. James Harden was asked about the combination of him and Joel Embiid last night. Like I said, they combined for 59 points. Harden came up with 13 assists, while Joel Embiid came up with 11 rebounds. Here's James Harden after the game talking about cooking with Joel Embiid.
About you and Joel, it seems like that partnership is coming along nicely after initially some people doubted whether you could play with one another.
Just sticking with it. You know what I mean? Constant communication, constant work. You know what I mean? Just everything is always going to be perfect. You know, and it take time. Things take time to be great. You know what I mean? So 2 individuals just trying to, make a partnership. And I think, as many games as we've been playing, we've been going in the right direction. So it's only up from here.
All right, everyone's chilling, everyone's fine, everyone's cool. They're cooking together. I'm fine with it. Everyone else is fine with it. They win. They beat the Lakers. Anytime you beat the Lakers is always great. Love beating the Lakers. But seeing those 2 on the same page as they are right now, you just hope that they keep it going. Kevin Durant's still going to be out a couple of weeks here. You have an opportunity to make up some ground on the Nets. Hopefully the Sixers will be able to do that. Let me tell you about my man, Steven Singer. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you this. So I'm at the Wings game with the Saturday night. And Blaze Reardon, who was a guest on the show here Friday morning, is the first out there for warm-ups. I'm going over my script. I'm going over my reads, and I look up, and there's Blaze and his little Jeff cap. We're both big fans of Jeff caps. And it hit me that I didn't deliver on a tease. I teased something before the Blaze Reardon, the Philadelphia Wings lacrosse team. I teased something before we aired the interview on Friday, and I didn't deliver on it. And I'm embarrassed. What I told you guys was there was a weird fact, a fun fact about Blaze and I. So Blaze and I get to talking, and I got to know him a couple of years ago when I was doing this the first time around with the Wings as their PA announcer. I got to know him a little bit. So we're at that event that we had on Friday night or Friday afternoon, and we're just talking. And he used to live with Matt Rambo, who's a member of the Wings, a LaSalle guy, a local guy. And I was like, hey, you and Rambo still roommates? He's like, no, Rambo moved out, whatever. And he's like, I'm actually living, he mentions the part of the city he's living in. And I'm like, oh, no way. That's where I lived in college. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I'm at, and he says his address. The same address. It's a row home converted into condos. Okay. It wasn't condos when I was there. That's another story for, maybe I'll tell it today, whatever. I said, yeah, me and my buddies, we had the 3rd floor. I was the middle room. And he goes, I now own the 3rd floor. He owns my old apartment from college, which has been refurbished. It's nice now. But just to give you an idea, okay? Just to give you an idea of the slum it was when I lived there 20 years ago. Okay, 18 years ago. Me and my buddies were moving out of West Philly. We lived in Powelton Village. My first year I lived in Philly. This is 2002. And my first year living in Philly, and we were living in Powelton Village, and we want to move a little bit closer to Temple's campus. So the reason we lived in Powelton Village, like Drexel basically, and Penn, was because it was the only place we could find that had a room for 6 guys. So anyway, we decided we want to move closer to Temple's campus. So we tore this place, and we're like, yeah, this is fine, whatever. College kids, what the hell we know. And we're literally it's like a community kitchen. So anyone on the 3rd floor, we thought, which were all my old roommate, like it was 3 of my friends. We were all renting the studio apartments on the 3rd floor. So we thought it was our kitchen. Oh no, anyone in the house could have come up and just used our kitchen at any time. But whatever. So we're about to sign on the dotted line to rent this apartment when I kid you not, the front door to the apartment gets kicked in. And a guy comes in and starts yelling at the landlord we're signing the lease with. We're literally pen in hand, looking at the paper about to sign. Door kicks in, and this guy starts screaming obscenities, naming our landlord by name, saying, "Give me my bleeping stuff. Give me my bleeping stuff." And our landlord, who was not of this country originally, he spoke through broken English. He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he's like, "You took my stuff. I want my stuff. Give me my stuff. Bleeping, bleep, 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 bleep." And we're like, what the hell is going on? And our guy, who's just our landlord, who's just playing this whole thing really chill, God bless him, older gentleman, probably the 70s, getting yelled at like this. And he's like, you leave. You leave. You leave. You haven't come back. And I was going to rent your apartment. Rent my apartment. And the guy's like screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling. So what we were able to put together after this going on, no lie, for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I kid you not. It felt like an hour. What we kind of got out of this was that this guy just up and left his apartment for a couple months, didn't pay his rent, and now came back and wanted to pay his rent, and get his stuff back. But the landlord's like, "Dude, you left. Like, I thought I didn't hear from you, nothing, gone." At that moment, 2 cops happened to be coming by, and now there's 2 police officers in here interrogating our soon-to-be new landlord and this guy. It resolved with the landlord just giving the guy stuff back, and this guy is dragging things up through the basement steps. It's all his old stuff that the landlord just put in the basement. And he's cursing the landlord out as the cops are like, "Okay, he's going to pay. You're going to pay him? He's going to pay you. He's going to pay you. You have his stuff. You're going to give him his stuff. Okay, we have no problem here." And the cops left, and the guy's coming up the steps with these like banker boxes full of his stuff. And me and my 2 friends are looking at each other like, "Yeah, okay, we'll sign. Okay, yeah, all right, so this is where we live now." We just signed the lease, and I lived there for a year and a half. And it's like, I guess this is okay. And that guy's going to be living 1 floor below us? Oh. Sorry. Do you need the date? Do I have to put the date? Okay. Anyway, that place is now nicer. And Blaze owns the 3rd floor. Anyway, we're all having fun. We're having fun here. It's always fun when you're learning things like this. Learn how to be an adult. Like, how do we'll just sign. It's fine. I'm sure they're actually friends. They're just breaking stones. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't deliver on that. But the Wings unfortunately lost Saturday night. Big run in the 3rd period there. Third quarter. Unfortunately, but yeah. Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. Let me tell you about my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price each and every day, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Got to go to Steven Singer a little bit later today. My wife, tomorrow actually, my wife got her engagement ring cleaned, so we got to pick that up. So I'll be down there today. But hey, fellas, Valentine's Day just around the corner. No better way to say I love you than with diamonds. And here's what you know at Steven Singer Jewelers. You're not going to be getting taken advantage of at Steven Singer Jewelers because he guarantees the perfect price. It's the perfect price guarantee from Steven Singer Jewelers. Now, what does that mean? Other jewelers like to mark things way up. Well, Steven keeps it right there at the perfect price each and every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Let me tell you about the great people at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Use promo code FARZI for 20% off and free shipping with promo code FARZI at Manscaped.com, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Now you can join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for all their manscaping needs. You'll enjoy their Platinum Package 4.0, which is their best hygiene bundle yet. It includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and they all come with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. So go to manscaped.com, use promo code FARZI, and you get 20% off and free shipping. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You like CBD? You use CBD? You want to try a different CBD? How about FreestoneFarmCBD.com? You like FreestoneFarmCBD.com? Get more CBD at Freestone Farms CBD. Freestone Farms, you'll absolutely love it. You'll enjoy their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So check out Freestone Farms CBD at FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. Use promo code FARZI for 20% off. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, answering your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsStation.com. Chat check time. Let's see how you guys are doing today on this fine MLK day. Good morning, Sean. Clay. Good morning, peeps. Actually, today is the start of my weekend. Back to work on Thursday. One of those, huh, Clay? One of those? Got the little crazy schedule? Your Saturday is a Tuesday night, like one of them deals? Yeah, I hear you. I've been there. BJ Santana. Let's go Giants, baby. I think that means let's go Giants, comma, baby. But either way, I'm excited that you chose to talk your ish on my show. So welcome aboard. Now that you say that, I change everything I said. Giants are going to get smoked. Anyway, Nick Peacock. Help! Nick, what's up, man? Go Birds. For those that don't know, that was a Peacock call I just did. Nick, go Birds. Damn right. Sean Gillespie, morning. Happy MLK. Happy MLK Day, Sean. Chargers really, really suck. How did they lose that game? Trevor, how did I not mention Doug Peterson? Oh, because it wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. I really love Doug Peterson. The obvious reason is because he won a Super Bowl here in Philadelphia. But I just think the guy, I feel like as a professional football player, you go from college where you're a kid, right? Then you become a professional. I feel like there was no better guy to come in after Chip Kelly than Doug Peterson. I feel like in Jacksonville, you have to feel like there was no better guy to come in after Urban Meyer than Doug Peterson. I think in both scenarios, he was just what the doctor ordered. The only other person, and he does not have the resume that Doug has, obviously, because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. I really liked Sean McDermott. I thought Sean McDermott was going to get a legit chance to be the head coach here in Philadelphia. We all love defense. We all love Eagles being a defensive smash mouth team and all that stuff. This year, it's weird. They were so aggressive in terms of winning their battles, in terms of getting to the quarterback, and they're not known as a smash mouth football team because Jonathan Gannon is viewed overall as a very passive defensive coordinator. Well, whatever he did this year worked. I think a lot of it had to do with Howie Roseman. I think a lot of it had to do with Vic Fangio. But whatever happened, this defense worked. And apparently he's the leader in the clubhouse for the Texans job. He interviewed a year ago. He interviewed again this year. They still really like him. They also interviewed Shane Steichen. They still looked at Jonathan Gannon and went, yeah, he's leader in the clubhouse. But I digress. I really like Sean McDermott. But Doug Peterson was the guy that got the job. Doug Peterson's the guy that won a Super Bowl. Yeah, Doug Peterson's now the guy that's down there in Jacksonville making Trevor Lawrence look like the number one overall pick that he should have been and is, that he should have looked like last year. Doug Peterson's the guy handling the business down there. Couldn't be happier that they came back. And what was it, 27-7? I'm watching it. That's what, yeah. And I remember thinking, not the craziest thing in the world to think about this as a comeback. Not that I would have bet on doing it, but really happy to see Doug do that. And how about Cameron Dicker, the kicker? Finds himself kicking to the playoffs. What else we got? Chargers, Sean. Mihai, what's up, Mihai? Morning, Mark, and everyone. I'm okay playing the Giants, solid team, but beatable, definitely. I wanted Dallas at least of the 4 possibilities since it would have been unnecessary fan and media drama. You're definitely right about that. Sean, I just don't want the Eagles coaches to be overconfident. That's their major undoing besides not running the damn ball. Don't want them to be overconfident. Let me just pause on that for a second. I would find it very hard to believe, in all honesty, and maybe maybe this is homerisms just getting in my brain. I would find it very difficult to believe that Steichen, Gannon, Sirianni would approach a playoff game with the idea that they're overthinking. Like the idea, not overthinking, overconfident. I feel like they realize a 14-win season means nothing if you get bounced out in the first round of the playoffs. I'd be shocked, flat out shocked, if they were looking ahead to anybody else. And I actually think that this helps them playing Saturday night as opposed to Sunday. Because just from what I'm remembering just off the top of my head with the schedule that they put out there, they don't know who they're going to play. So, yeah. Boop. Let's see. Don't want the Eagles. Coach did Sean Gillespie. I got pinned. Sean got pinned. You're damn right you did. Vodka works wonders for coughs. I still have. You guys don't even realize, like, because I'm packing up the house, like half my studio is broken down because we move tomorrow. So just, I'll give this to you guys right now. I am planning on stacking interviews today. Could have a very special guest for you tomorrow. I'll keep you posted on that online on social media. Planning on stacking interviews for the week so that we have some nice content and hopefully giving you guys some live material throughout the week. It's going to be nuts, though. We're staying with some friends for like a day or two, and then we're moving, or 2 days, excuse me, and then we're moving into the new house. So it's going to be a crazy couple of days at the worst possible time right before an Eagles playoff game, of course. But I'll still be here for you guys. Don't you worry. In one way or another. Boop. Yeah, so I do have a bottle of vodka down there, but it's unopened. Clay, just hoping that Lane's ab problem won't be a problem. Same with Jalen's shoulder, 1,000%. Sean Gillespie, Daniel Jones can run now? Daniel Jones has always been able to run. Daniel Jones is Josh Allen light. Cousins gagged again. Clay, yes, he did. Murphy Brown, what a name. Oh, Jesus is Lord. Okay, thank you, Murphy. Clay, 3 lineups, none of which include B-ball ball if Rivers has his way. Very true. Clay, Thursday to Sunday, 6 a.m. Oh, my goodness gracious. God bless you, Clay. That's bonkers, man. What else do we got here? Thursday, so God bless you. Work schedule. Oh, boy. Mike Worker. Mike Worker. What's up? Confidence Doug Peterson has instilled in Lawrence. Makes him a very dangerous team for the Chiefs this week. Gonna be, as Artie Johnson used to say, very interesting. I want Mike D'Antoni or Larry Brown. Wow! Murphy Brown, first comment, Jesus is Lord. Second comment, I want Mike D'Antoni or Larry Brown. That's awesome. That's a contrast in comments. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. So we got Eagles, we got Giants, Saturday night, 8:15. Sixers are off today. They're back at it tomorrow. I think they got the Clippers next. They got the Clippers, tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. Womp womp. That's a TNT game. So you guys can catch that. The Flyers will look to win 8 of 9. What? When they take on the Bruins in Boston this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hey, bonus me. I'll be on Good Day Philadelphia, Fox 29, today, locally, here in Philadelphia, for the latest installment of the Footballed segment. Jim Hyde produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Be back with you guys tomorrow with hopefully a very special guest. Thanks very much, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.